What's up, guys? Welcome back to Huddle to Hardwood. My name is Holden.
And my name is Jacob, and today we're going to be breaking down the Michigan State versus Louisville game in the round of 32. So to get things kicked off right off the bat, Louisville finished 24-10 overall on their season. They finished 11-7 in the ACC, where they finished in sixth place. They had one, two, three, four. They had seven notable games that I wrote down this year. So I'm not going to go too much in detail about them. I'm just going to read their names and whether they won or lost. So I'll start off with their wins. They faced number nine at the time, University of Kentucky, where they beat them. And then they beat at the time number 22, Miami, Florida, where they won. Now, these next five games are all losses. At the time, 25 Arkansas, loss. Number 6 Duke, loss. Number 16 Virginia, loss. Number 4 Duke, loss. Number 18 Kentucky, loss. Or not Kentucky, sorry. North Carolina, loss. Um, so in five of their notable games this year, which and their notable games, that's their toughest competition that I found in their schedule. They lost majority of it. So I just want to put that out there.
They
So
also have some
going
bad losses too that I saw.
Yeah, like some of them were close. Like the UNC game was close. I think Arkansas might have been close, but they lost to Duke by 10 the first time, and then they lost by like 30 the second time. Virginia, I don't really remember. But getting into the last five games, their game yesterday against USF, they won 83 to 79. Isaac McKinley had 23 points. He shot 10 3-pointers and was 7 for 10 from the three-point line. Um, and then based on who's been playing, Ryan Conwell is probably their best player at the moment because their actual best player is out. He added 18 points to the effort. Then they had a loss to Miami, Florida, who they lost 78-77. Ryan Conwell had 22 points. He shot 10 3-pointers this game, only making one of them. And then Javon Hadley had 19 points. Then they beat SMU 62 to 58. Conwell had 16 points. He shot 9 3-pointers this game, only making two of them. And then Adrian Woolley had 14 points. And then they beat Miami, Florida. They won 92 to 89. Ryan Conwell had 24 points, shot 9 3-pointers, made four of them. Javon Hadley added 16 points. And then they had their 5 games ago, they beat Syracuse. Ryan Conwell had 23 points, shot 13 3-pointers this game, made five of them. And then Javon Hadley had 19 points.
Yeah. So do you want me to just get into the players and the
Yeah,
matchups here?
you can go ahead and get in the players and matchups. Those are just their
All right.
last five and some things I saw.
All right. So yeah, I got three main guys on here. Would be four if they had Michael Brown. Hopefully they don't pull a fast one on us and say that he's not going to be available for this game and then he just shows up in warmups and starts playing.
Hopefully
That'd
not,
be crazy and that would stress me out. So please don't do that.
especially since we wouldn't be able to game plan for them.
Yeah. So with that being said, number one guy on this list that I have here is 6'4" guard Ryan Conwell. He's a transfer from Xavier. He was their best player last year, and then he came over to Louisville. He was actually one of the top transfers in the transfer portal this year. So it was a big kind of pickup for Louisville here. I think that this guy, well, he's averaging 18.7 points per game on the season, but he only shoots 40% from the field. So similar to some of the guys we touched on with North Dakota State, yes, they can put up a lot of points, but they do it very, very inefficiently. I think this guy is also a shot chucker. From the game that I watched yesterday against South Florida, he was just taking terrible shot after terrible shot. It was just like anytime that someone gave him a lick of space, he was just throwing it up there. He shot 5 of 14 in their game yesterday. Um,
That's
so
what I was
yeah, so he's a very don't get me wrong, he is capable of hitting those shots. It's just he he forces a lot of bad looks, and I think that plays into our hand a lot. He is 6'4". He is also he's a pretty big 6'4" kind of stock. He's about 215 pounds. So I'll go into more detail of like kind of game plans and keys to victory, but you'll kind of see a common trend for me based on my matchup situations I have here. But in terms of who I want on Ryan Conwell, I would say a mixture of Jordan Scott and Cohen Carr. Um, they're both they Jordan Scott and Cohen Carr will probably have the height advantage on him. But Ryan Conwell is also, like I said, like a stronger type of 6'4". So I wouldn't be surprised if you saw Cohen switch on him every now and then, just to match him physically, as well, because Jordan Scott's a little on the smaller, lengthier side. But I'd probably see either Jordan and Cohen kind of match up against each other. Because also too, looking into their starting lineup from last game, they do have taller guys coming off the bench, but all their starters that might switch depending on when they play us because we have a bit more size than the team that they just played. But all their size came from off the bench. They started like 6'3", 6'4", 6'7". Like they're all like I think 1 through 3 was like 6'4". So yeah, that's who I'll have guarding Jordan, or sorry, Ryan Conwell. I'll have Jordan and Cohen kind of switching off and on with him. Yeah, but what do you feel about Ryan Conwell and what you've seen from him?
Yeah, he definitely shoots the ball a lot. I was surprised he only attempted 7 threes yesterday. I would definitely like to see Cohen more on him just for the physical aspect. Because obviously I like Jordan as a defender. I think he's a good defender. But in terms of physicality and seeing how Cohen's been playing defense the past like 5, 10 games, I would really like to see Cohen on them, on him. And then to speak about the height you were talking about. Yeah, they really small. They have a 7 foot guy on their in their lineup who he plays like 10 minutes a game. Then they have like a 6'10" and 6'11" guy that only also average around 10 minutes a game. So that kind of surprised me a bit having that amount of height and not playing him very much. But yeah, I'm hoping Cohen gets put on him. But I mean, I also wouldn't be terribly upset if Jordan started
Yeah,
out.
it seems like I mean it's already seeming like they put a large emphasis on just straight guard play and putting up shots and playmaking. They don't really, I don't think their bigs are going to be much of a threat for us, and there I don't think they're going to make them much of a threat. But anyways, moving on, I have our next player here. Isaac McNeely is how you pronounce his name, not McKinley. That wasn't even close. McNeely. He is a 6'4" guard. I think he plays primarily the point guard. Like you mentioned earlier, he in their last game shot 7 of 10 from the 3-point line. He was the one that kind of helped them pull away in the middle portion of the game, hitting his shots. And then obviously South Florida made a comeback later on. But he averages 11 points per game on the season, 39% from three. So he's a very capable shooter. Um, and then other than that, I just think it's a pretty clear. I'm going to say Jeremy Fears slash Jordan Scott on him, switching on and off depending on how the game's going and different matchup wise. But I think you'll see a mixture of those two on him. And then I only have one other player written down on here. It's 6'7" forward slash guard wing, Javon Hadley. I'm pretty sure 2 years ago when we were in the transfer portal trying to recruit for like guys like Frankie Fiddler and stuff like that, Javon Hadley was one of those guys on our list, and then he ended up going to Louisville. So I just remember that name just from the transfer portal recruiting era from like two years ago or so before our season last year. But he averages about 12 points per game. He shoots 46% from the 3-point line. And he's, like I said, he's 6'7". So I could see another kind of maybe Jordan starts out on him or Cohen starts out on him, and they could maybe switch on and off between guarding Javon Hadley and Ryan Conwell, kind of back and forth here. But those are the guys I have written down. And I think it's just very evident that all these guys like to shoot and they will shoot a lot. So that'll play a part into my keys to victory and stuff. But do you have any other thoughts on some of the key players that I outlined already in their matchups?
No, I think you touched on them all, and I would like to see Jordan Scott start out on Javon Hadley and move on from there.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. I think a lot of the defensive effort and defensive pressure is going to be heavily reliant on Fears, Jordan, and Cohen this game. So they're going to need to come out to play and be locked in because I think a lot of the work's going to come from those top three guards for Louisville. But But yeah, we can start moving on into our keys to victory, Jake. So you can let you
Oh,
start.
we gotta do the
Oh,
stats real quick.
oh, my fault, my fault.
Very good. So these next two stats I'm gonna read off, to be honest, concern me quite a bit. Considering what we've seen in the past like two games. Well, not including the one we just beat, NDSU, but Louisville attempts 32 three-pointers a game. That is the third most in the country. So this is definitely a team where if they get hot, it's going to be a pretty rough afternoon for us Spartan fans. And out of those 32 three-pointers, they make 11 and a half three-pointers a game, which is fifth most in the country. Um, so those two stats kind of really concern me.
That's terrible. It's still a terrible shooting percentage, though. If they average 32 threes a game and shooting 11, or only making 11 of them, that's
Yeah,
not.
it says they shoot about 35% a game
I
as well.
mean, see,
Yeah,
that's the part you got to think about too. Yeah, they take a lot and
yeah.
make a lot, but percentage wise, that just means they shoot a lot of them,
I mean,
taking
yeah,
bad
so
shots.
they definitely shoot a lot of threes. It's definitely something that should be very concerning, and I'm
Yeah.
sure Coach Izzo is game planning for that because if you take away their 3 point, but we're gonna blow them out of the water, to be honest. Um, so we really have to make sure we take away that 3 point ball. But yeah, they average 36 rebounds per game. They do have some big men, but like you said, and I touched on a little bit, they don't really play that much. They average 85 points per game while giving up 72 points per game. They have a 70 or 47% field goal percentage and 77% from the free throw line. So they are a better free throw shooting team than NDSU. NDSU didn't get to the line very much in that game. Louisville got to the line 25 times against USF, which they made only 14 of them. But I mean, yeah, so just stay disciplined. The last set I have, in including the games yesterday. Louisville's won seven of their last 11 games. Michigan State's won nine of their last 11. So just keep that in the back of your head. And yeah, those are the stats I have. So we can jump right into keys to victory.
Yeah, so um I guess I have a handful on here, but two of the main things I have on here. One, obviously you talked about their shooting ability and they like to get a lot of shots up. So big one I have on here is hand up on every shot and we need a good contest on everything. Don't be lazy. I don't care who it is. I don't know if their bigs can shoot at all or whatever. I don't care who it is. It feels like Louisville will put it up regardless if you let them. So get hands up, go over screens. Do not be lazy on screen defense like that we've had in the past. Need to get up and over on everything because they will let it fly, and we cannot let them start to build confidence off of that. And then kind of what I was going back and forth with on my matchups. I think this game is a game that we are capable of switching mostly everything. So when it comes to screens, I don't think we necessarily have to have one guy fighting over and bigs have to have a great hedge. I think we're suited for this game. And they're like their main three guys to just switch. And I think we got the size and the length to match up with them really well. And so I think mainly between Jordan Cohn and Jeremy, I think they should be pretty suited to switch most and everything. And I think each one of them can guard all three of those guys. So I want to see just constant move. Not, I think it also help us defensively too without putting so much pressure on having to chase guys around, fly over screens. Like I think we're going to be okay if we just switch and stay disciplined just by doing that. And then one thing that I noticed yesterday and just hearing things about Louisville throughout the season. Take advantage of their fast pace and their sloppiness because it feels like Louisville plays way too fast for their own good because like, especially the game that I watched against South Florida, they were just running up and down the floor, playing really fast. They were dribbling off their legs. They were making terrible passes, and then they were taking terrible early contested threes that just looked terrible. So I think we're very suited for that. We're already disciplined defensively for the most part. I know we've been struggling lately, but we're a defensively disciplined team, and I think if Louisville thinks they can just run down here and play sloppy and chuck up bad shots 10, 15 seconds in the shot clock, I think that plays right into our hand. And they miss a shot, we get a rebound, and we run right past them because they're just not ready for us to go right back the other way. So I think we need to take advantage of their quick and sloppy play because I think they're one of the teams in the country that like average the most possessions or something like that because they just come down and they shoot really fast. Um, and just going off of that, I just said it's like I said, it's a great opportunity to also uh, defend, rebound, and run like we did last game. They're going to come down and take fast and bad shots, and if we get on the ball really fast and get our rebounds fast, we're going to be flying right past them the other way. So I think that plays right into our hand there. And I just said stop the guards because the guards are going to be doing most of the work. So switch everything, get up on screens, get hands up on shot contests, and I think we're going to be okay in this game. But that's what I got for keys to victory for this game.
Yeah, so the first thing I have, which I touched on kind of already, shut down their three-pointers, really smother them at the three-point line because they're not going to be able to beat us in the post. Yes, they do have the size over us. However, I mean, they don't play that much, and I don't expect them to be that big of a threat. However, our bigs still have to come to play, but really shut down that three. And I really agree with what you said. Switch everything. This is not a team where we can go over the screen or under the screen. We have to switch everything, and that's part of taking away their three-point line. So I heavily agree with that. I also said play really aggressive. They turn the ball over a lot. They average 11 per game. In that game yesterday against USF, they had 22 turnovers.
Oh, geez, yeah, dude,
Yeah,
need to hop
so
all over that.
really play up on their guards, kind of like I was saying against NDSU. I mean, Louisville's more prepared than NDSU was. They did play some good competition in like Duke and UNC and Virginia, but turn the ball over a ton, play really aggressive. Continue moving on offense. I really liked how we were like moving around, moving the ball around, not standing still. Really like that. We came out with energy yesterday. Tons of guys were just radiating with it, and I absolutely love it. I think this is going to be a guards game. Louisville's runs a small lineup, and it's a lot of jump shots. So I think this is going to come down to pacing and guard games, and that goes in my next thing, control the pace. This is what March is all about, is controlling the pace of the game. And we have one of the best point guards in the country, arguably the best. And I trust him to know what pace we need to play at, whether we need to keep putting the pedal to the metal or slow it down a little bit. I trust Jeremy Fears to get this under control because this doesn't really matter during the regular season, but it's probably one of the biggest things in March. So I really want to see that. I still want to see some post touches. I really liked how we played against NDSU and getting the ball in the post. And if they are going in that small ball lineup, get some touches to Jackson, Coop. I need Jeremy to continue to be aggressive by driving downhill, whether he decides to shoot it or not. I trust his judgment. Create for other people or go get the bucket yourself. I mean, obviously, like we saw yesterday, we don't need him to score 15, 20, 30 points to win the ball game. We just need him to be aggressive and open opportunities for others. And then the last thing I have is rebound the ball and no second chance points. And we got to really be prepared for rebounding the basketball because when you have all basketball players know that when you shoot a three and miss it, they tend to be longer rebounds. So we really got to prep in practice today and prep in the film that these rebounds that we're going to have are going to be long rebounds. And we saw against UCLA and Michigan that really hurt us, especially against UCLA. A lot of their offensive rebounds was the guards coming swooping in because it was a long rebound. So we got to really be prepared for that today, but or
Yeah, I
tomorrow.
mean, yeah, just going off of some of the things that you said with Germany controlling the pace and stuff, if they want to play super fast and out of control, we can match that by Germany slowing everything down and not allowing um, Louisville to get all the possessions that they're accustomed to because they're accustomed to just getting shot up after shot up after shot up. If we control the pace and we, you know, not necessarily run down the clock all the time, but walk it up the floor and get good, high quality shots and not match their pace where we're also playing fast. Don't play into their hand. And I think we're very capable of doing so. So it might get down to the point where Louisville's trying to play too fast, and we're just like, no, like we're going to play at our pace. We're not playing at yours. Um, and then I liked what you said about the rebounding too, and the fact it's going to be a lot of long rebounds because it's going to be a lot of jump shots, a lot of outside shots. I keep saying this, but it goes into our defend, rebound, run. If we're able to grab those long rebounds and quickly turn that and go right down the floor, I think we can make this into a game where we're getting fast break point after fast break point. And I don't think they're really good defensively whatsoever. So I think we need to take advantage of that. But
Yeah. The last thing I am going to say with the point that you brought up, like, since they like to play super fast, slow it down for the like four people that watch us, I want to add on. Um, to that. So I know that we're not the strongest in half court offense. We all know that as Michigan State fans, but one thing I want to make note on is that we might be bad, but Louisville's worse at half court offense. So I mean, I absolutely agree with you. If they want to run fast, limit their possessions, take up all 25, 30 seconds on the shot clock and really slow that game down because, like I was just saying, we might be bad at it, but they're going to be worse at it. And that's all we need them to do is be worse at it to win this game. So, yeah.
all right. So yeah, with that being said, we can head right into our predictions here. I don't know if we touched on it already, but Michigan State opens up as a 4.5 point favorite, so they're expected to win by about 5 points. Their money line is sitting at -200, and then for Louisville, they are plus 164. So with that being said, I think it's going to be obviously a closer and more competitive game than it was for us last time against NDSU, just because it's a higher level opponent. But I do feel pretty confident about this game and just how we match up against Louisville and what they want to do versus what we're capable of doing. I think we match up pretty well against them. So especially with them being without Michael Brown, who add a completely different level to this game. So, like I said at the beginning, hopefully they don't pull a fast one on us and just throw them out there. That would be very unfortunate. But that being said, I'm going to take Michigan State to cover that 4.5 point spread, and I'm going to say Michigan State wins this game 83-74.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. I think it's going to be a closer game. Just because the level of opponent. I also have Michigan State covering the spread. I have us winning 78 to 69.
All right then. So that being said, hopefully uh you guys see us in the next recap. Happy that we are moving on to the Sweet 16. That would be awesome to move on to the second weekend and keep things rolling. So without further ado, that'll do it for this preview, and we will see you guys in the recap. So let's go green. Hopefully they get the dub.
Go White.